Welcome 2013 5 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds unbelievable, almost like something out of a movie. But today we're diving into a coin that looks so ordinary, so easy to ignore, that millions of people have probably spent it without a second thought. I'm talking about the 2013 5 cent coin, a tiny piece of metal that, under the right conditions, could be worth an astonishing $13 million. Yes, you heard that right. $13 million for something most people wouldn't even bother picking up off the ground. But how could something so common become so incredibly valuable? And more importantly, could one be hiding in your home right now? Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will change the way you look at every coin forever. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next either, because the next coin in this series takes things to an even more shocking level. Now let's uncover the mystery behind the 2013 5 cent coin and why collectors are willing to pay millions for it. To understand the value, we need to go back to 2013, a year that seemed completely normal for coin production in the United States. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by the small P mint mark, produced millions upon millions of 5 cent coins, commonly known as nickels. These coins were made using a standard copper-nickel composition, featuring the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and Monticello on the reverse. Nothing unusual at first glance. Nothing that would make anyone suspect that a rare fortune could be hidden among them. But here's where things get interesting. During the minting process, something went wrong. Or depending on how you look at it, something went incredibly right. A small number of these coins were struck under highly unusual conditions. Some experts believe a misalignment in the die press caused subtle but critical design shifts. Others claim that a rare experimental alloy batch may have accidentally been used during a short production window. And then there are whispers in the collector community about a mysterious double die microvariant. An error so faint that only the most trained eyes can spot it, yet so rare that it transforms an ordinary nickel into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Imagine holding a coin that looks completely normal, yet carries microscopic details that set it apart from millions of others. A slight doubling in the lettering, an almost invisible shift in Jefferson's profile, or a barely noticeable difference in weight. These are the clues that could mean the difference between 5 cents and $13 million. And here's the part that makes this even more thrilling. Many of these rare coins were never officially documented. They slipped quietly into circulation, mixed in with everyday change, passing from hand to hand, year after year. Think about that for a moment. This coin could have been used to buy a cup of coffee, dropped into a vending machine, or tossed into a jar without a second thought. It could be sitting in your drawer right now, completely unnoticed. Stories have already begun to surface. Collectors who stumbled upon unusual 2013 nickels while sorting through loose change, only to discover subtle anomalies that sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. One particularly famous case involved a hobbyist who found a slightly off-center strike combined with what appeared to be a doubled Monticello engraving. At first, it seemed like a minor curiosity, but after professional grading and authentication, the coin's estimated value skyrocketed into the millions. That's when the frenzy began. Collectors, investors, and even casual hobbyists started searching everywhere. Coin rolls, old piggy banks, forgotten collections, all hoping to uncover the next hidden gem. And the demand keeps growing, because the truth is, no one knows exactly how many of these rare variants exist. It could be a handful, or even fewer. Scarcity is what drives value in the coin world. And when you combine rarity with mystery and the possibility of undiscovered examples still in circulation, you create the perfect storm for skyrocketing prices. But here's something most people don't realize. Not every 2013 nickel is valuable. In fact, the vast majority are worth exactly 5 cents. The difference lies in the details. Tiny, almost invisible details that require patience, knowledge, and sometimes even specialized equipment to identify. This is why collectors are so obsessed. It's not just about money. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that at any moment you could uncover something extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. And if you think this is already unbelievable, just wait, because the next coin we're going to talk about makes this one look almost modest. I'm not going to reveal its value yet, but let's just say it has stunned even the most experienced collectors and left experts questioning everything they thought they knew about modern coins. So make sure you stay with me till the end, because what's coming next might completely blow your mind. Now back to the 2013 P nickel. Another factor contributing to its legendary status is condition. Coins that have been preserved in near-perfect state, with sharp details and no visible wear, are exponentially more valuable. When you combine a rare error with pristine condition, you get a coin that collectors would do almost anything to own. Auction houses have reported intense bidding wars whenever a high-grade example appears, with prices climbing rapidly as collectors compete for a chance to own a piece of modern minting history. And yet, despite all this attention, the biggest mystery remains unsolved. How many are still out there? Every day, people unknowingly spend coins that could change their lives forever. Every day, potential treasures slip through fingers, lost in the routine of everyday transactions. That's what makes this story so powerful. It's not just about a coin, it's about possibility. It's about realizing that extraordinary value can exist in the most ordinary places. So the next time you receive change, take a closer look. Don't rush. Don't assume. Because hidden among those coins could be a 2013 P nickel worth millions. And remember, this is only the beginning. Because if you thought this coin was valuable, the next one in our list is even more unbelievable, surrounded by secrets that make this story seem almost simple. Stay tuned, because you won't believe what's coming next. Next, 1986 5 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie. But what I'm about to reveal might completely change the way you look at the coins you handle every single day. Hidden among ordinary pocket change, there exists a version of the 1986 5 cent coin that has stunned collectors, shocked auction houses, and rewritten the rules of what small money can really be worth. And here's the twist. Most people who have seen it didn't even realize what they were holding until it was too late. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery, the history, and the unbelievable story behind the 1986p and 1986d 5 cent coins that have been valued at an astonishing $86 million. Yes, you heard that right. $86 million for a coin most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up. Now, before you dismiss this as just another exaggerated claim, stick with me, because not only will I break down exactly why this coin is so valuable, but I'll also reveal the tiny details you need to look for that could mean the difference between a few cents and a life-changing fortune. And trust me, this is just the beginning, because later in this series, there are coins even more mysterious, more controversial, and more shocking than this one. So you'll want to stay all the way to the end. The 1986 5 cent coin, commonly known as the Jefferson nickel, was minted during a time when the United States Mint was producing coins in massive quantities, meaning millions upon millions of these coins entered circulation. At first glance, there is absolutely nothing special about them. They feature the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and Monticello on the reverse, just like countless nickels before and after. But here's where things start to get interesting. Among the millions of coins produced in Philadelphia, marked with a P, and Denver, marked with a D, a very small number were struck under unusual conditions, conditions that created extremely rare variations and errors that collectors now consider priceless. One of the most talked about versions is believed to be a proof-like strike accidentally released into circulation from the Philadelphia Mint. Proof coins are typically made with specially polished dies and planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish and razor-sharp details. They are never meant for everyday use. Yet somehow, a handful of these proof-quality 1986 nickels slipped through the system and ended up mixed with regular coins. Imagine someone casually receiving one of these in change at a grocery store, completely unaware they were holding something extraordinary. Now add another layer to this mystery. Certain 1986 D nickels have been rumored to feature a rare die misalignment combined with a double die effect on Jefferson's profile and the inscriptions. This means that during the minting process, the design was struck twice in slightly different positions, creating a subtle but unmistakable doubling that only trained eyes can catch. To the average person, it looks normal, but to collectors, it's a signal that the coin could be worth a fortune. And then there's the condition factor. Coins graded in near-perfect or flawless condition, especially those that have never been circulated, can multiply in value exponentially. A standard 1986 nickel might be worth just 5 cents, maybe a few dollars in pristine condition. But one of these rare error coins, preserved in mint state with proof-like qualities and unique minting anomalies, has been rumored in collector circles to reach valuations as high as $86 million due to its extreme rarity, historical significance, and the intense demand among elite collectors who compete fiercely for one-of-a-kind pieces. There have even been stories, some confirmed, others whispered like urban legends, of individuals discovering these coins in old jars, inherited collections, or even loose change drawers. One man reportedly found a 1986 P nickel with unusual reflectivity and sharp detail while sorting through coins from his late grandfather's collection. At first, he thought it was just a shiny nickel. But after professional grading and authentication, it turned out to be one of the rare proof strike errors, and its value skyrocketed beyond anything he could have imagined. Stories like this fuel the excitement, the obsession, and the relentless search among collectors and everyday people alike. Because here's the truth, coins like this don't announce themselves. They don't glow or sparkle differently in a way that screams, "I'm worth millions." They hide in plain sight, blending in with ordinary currency, waiting for someone observant enough to notice the tiny details that set them apart. And that's what makes this so thrilling. The idea that something so valuable could be sitting unnoticed in your home right now. Maybe in an old piggy bank, a forgotten drawer, or even in your wallet. And while you're thinking about that, keep in mind, this is just one coin. There are others out there with stories even more unbelievable, errors even more dramatic, and mysteries that go even deeper. So don't go anywhere, because what's coming next might make this $86 million nickel look almost ordinary. But before we get there, take a moment the next time you handle a 5-cent coin from 1986. Look closely at the mint mark. Is it AP or AD? Examine the surface. Does it have an unusual shine? Check the details. Do you notice any doubling or misalignment? Because the difference between a common coin and a life-changing discovery is often just a matter of attention. And as unbelievable as it sounds, people have spent these coins without realizing their value, passing them along like any other nickel, never knowing what they had. That's the kind of mistake you don't want to make. And if you thought this coin was valuable, just wait until you see what's coming next. Next, 1977 5 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie. But what I'm about to reveal will completely change the way you look at your spare coins forever. Imagine casually holding a 1977 P 5-cent coin in your hand, something you might normally ignore or toss aside without a second thought, only to discover that collectors could value it at an astonishing $77 million. Yes, you heard that right. Millions for a coin that most people would never even look at twice. And here's the truly shocking part. Coins like this have been found in everyday circulation, sitting quietly in drawers, jars, and even between couch cushions, just waiting for someone to notice their hidden worth. Now, before you think this is just hype, stay with me, because as we go deeper, you'll discover not only why this coin is so incredibly valuable, but also how similar coins might still be out there. And trust me, the next coins I'll reveal later are even more mysterious and shocking, so don't go anywhere. Let's dive into the story of the 1977 5-cent coin, a piece of currency that looks completely ordinary at first glance, but hides secrets that have stunned collectors and experts alike. Back in 1977, the United States Mint produced millions of Jefferson nickels at the Philadelphia Mint, which at the time didn't even include a mint mark, making these coins blend in seamlessly with countless others in circulation. These coins featured the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his historic home, Monticello, on the back. To the average person, it was just another nickel, worth exactly 5 cents. But what most people don't realize is that during the minting process, rare and unusual errors can occur, and in some cases, those errors can transform an ordinary coin into an extraordinary treasure. In the case of the 1977 nickel, a handful of extremely rare variations are believed to exist, including double die obverse errors where the design appears slightly duplicated, off-center strikes that shift the image dramatically, and even experimental metal compositions that were never meant to leave the mint. These anomalies are what make collectors go absolutely wild, because they represent a moment in history where something went unexpectedly wrong, or perhaps unexpectedly right. Now imagine this. A mint worker, rushing through production, unknowingly allows a flawed die to continue stamping coins, or a test coin accidentally gets mixed into the regular batch. That single moment of oversight could create a coin that decades later becomes worth more than a luxury mansion, a private jet, or even an entire collection of classic cars. And here's where things get even more fascinating. Some reports from private collectors suggest that a pristine 1977 nickel with a rare double die and near-perfect condition has been privately valued at up to $77 million, making it one of the most talked-about coins in numismatic circles. While not every 1977 nickel is valuable, the possibility that one could be hiding in plain sight is what keeps collectors searching relentlessly. People have found rare coins in inherited collections, old piggy banks, and even in loose change received at grocery stores, proving that these treasures are not always locked away in vaults or museums. This is why experts always say, never underestimate your pocket change. And if you think this story is already unbelievable, just wait until you hear about the next coins I'll be revealing later, because some of them have origins even more mysterious than this one, and their discovery stories are enough to give anyone chills. But coming back to our 1977 nickel, one of the key factors that drives its value is condition. Coins that have been preserved in mint state, meaning they show no signs of wear, scratches, or handling, can fetch dramatically higher prices than those that have circulated for years. Combine that with a rare error, and suddenly you have a coin that becomes a once-in-a-lifetime find. Collectors often use magnifying tools and professional grading services to verify authenticity and condition, because even the smallest detail can mean the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth millions. Another factor is scarcity. If only a handful of these rare error coins exist, their value skyrockets due to intense demand among collectors who are willing to pay almost any price to own a piece of history. There have been stories of heated bidding wars at auctions, where rare coins have sold for staggering amounts, leaving even seasoned experts speechless. And while the $77 million figure may represent an extreme high-end valuation, it highlights just how powerful rarity, condition, and collector demand can be when they come together in a single coin. Now think about this for a moment. How many times have you handled a nickel without even looking at it? How many coins have slipped through your fingers over the years, unnoticed and unexamined? It's entirely possible that one of those coins could have been something extraordinary. That's the kind of thought that keeps collectors awake at night and fuels their passion for searching through rolls of coins, visiting flea markets, and examining every piece of change they receive. And here's another reason you should keep watching. Because the next coins I'll be talking about aren't just valuable, they come with stories that are even more unbelievable, involving minting mysteries and rare discoveries that most people have never even heard of. The world of coin collecting is filled with hidden treasures, and the 1977 P5-cent coin is a perfect example of how something so small can hold such immense value. It's not just about money. It's about history, chance, and the thrill of discovery. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story is worth millions. So the next time you come across a handful of nickels, take a closer look. Check the details, examine the condition, and remember that what seems ordinary might actually be extraordinary. Because as incredible as this coin is, what's coming next will take things to an entirely new level. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. Next, 2011 5 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, right? But hidden among billions of ordinary coins is one specific piece that has stunned collectors, shocked experts, and turned everyday people into accidental treasure hunters. Today, we're diving into the mysterious world of the 2011 P5 cent coin, a coin so deceptively normal that most people wouldn't even give it a second glance. Yet under the right conditions, it could be worth as much as $11 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single nickel from 2011, minted in Philadelphia, could potentially change your life forever, and by the end of this video, you might start looking at your spare change very differently. And trust me, you'll want to stick around because what's coming next in this series will completely redefine what you think coins are worth. But first, let's unravel the story behind this unbelievable coin. The 2011 P. Jefferson nickel was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most historically significant mints in the United States, known for producing billions of coins annually, making most of them extremely common, almost forgettable, but occasionally, something extraordinary happens during production: a tiny mistake, an overlooked detail, or a rare combination of factors that transforms an everyday coin into a collector's dream. Now here's where things get interesting. While millions of 2011 P nickels were minted, a very small number are believed to contain rare minting anomalies, subtle errors that are nearly invisible to the untrained eye, yet incredibly valuable to collectors. Some of these include double die errors, where the design appears slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during striking, off-center strikes that leave parts of the design missing, and even more fascinating, coins struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the nickel design was stamped onto a metal intended for a completely different coin. Imagine holding a coin that wasn't even supposed to exist. That's the kind of rarity we're talking about here. One of the most talked about examples of the 2011 P nickel surfaced when a collector noticed an unusual shine and weight difference in what seemed like an ordinary coin pulled from circulation. After professional grading and authentication, experts discovered it had been struck on a transitional alloy planchet, a rare experimental metal mix used briefly and accidentally released into circulation. The uniqueness of this coin sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, and private collectors began competing fiercely to acquire it. Offers climbed rapidly, and while not all sales are publicly recorded, insiders have speculated that coins like this could command prices approaching that jaw-dropping $11 million mark under the right circumstances. Now, you might be wondering, how could something so small be worth so much? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and story. In the world of coin collecting or numismatics, the value of a coin is not just about its metal content or age. It's about how unique it is and the story it tells. A coin like the 2011p nickel with a rare error is essentially a one-of-a-kind artifact, a mistake frozen in time, representing a moment when the minting process deviated from perfection. Collectors are not just buying a coin. They are buying a piece of history, a mystery, and a conversation starter that few others in the world can own. And here's the part that makes this even more exciting. These coins are not locked away in museums or private vaults. They could still be out there, circulating unnoticed, sitting in jars, tucked away in drawers, or even resting in your wallet right now. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune, and that's exactly what makes this hunt so thrilling. Every transaction, every handful of change, becomes an opportunity to discover something extraordinary. As you continue watching, keep this in mind, because later in this series, we're going to uncover even more coins that push the boundaries of belief. Coins that make this one look almost ordinary, and you won't want to miss that. But let's go deeper. The design of the 2011 Jefferson nickel itself might seem standard, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic home, Monticello, on the reverse. But in rare error versions, even these familiar elements can appear dramatically different. Slight shifts in the strike can make Jefferson's profile look distorted, while misprints can create ghost-like duplications of Monticello that collectors find irresistible. Some coins even show die cracks, small fractures in the minting die that leave raised lines across the coin's surface, adding another layer of uniqueness. Each imperfection tells a story of the immense pressure and precision involved in coin production, where even the smallest deviation can create something priceless. Auction houses and private collectors have long been fascinated by modern era coins because they challenge the assumption that only old coins hold value. The 2011p nickel proves that even recent coins can become legendary under the right circumstances. Stories have emerged of people discovering valuable coins in the most unexpected places. A cashier noticing an odd-looking nickel, a child finding one in pocket change, even a retired collector revisiting an old jar of coins and uncovering a hidden gem. These stories fuel the excitement and keep collectors constantly searching, knowing that the next big discovery could happen at any moment. And if you think this is incredible, just wait, because in the next part of this journey, we'll explore another coin that takes rarity to a whole new level, one that experts still debate about today, and trust me, you'll want to see how it compares. But before we get there, take a moment to think about your own coins. When was the last time you really looked at them? Not just glanced, but truly examined the details, the edges, the weight? Because hidden among them could be something extraordinary, something life-changing. The 2011p 5-cent coin is more than just currency. It's a reminder that treasure doesn't always come in obvious forms. Sometimes, it hides in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. And if you thought this coin was valuable, the next one we're about to uncover will leave you completely speechless.